wanted to have some sage today. So we're going to light a little sage. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Need a little fan. So I started working out of this new space. This is actually the space that I do most of my coaching from and most of my coaching calls. Because my husband is using up the Wi-Fi bandwidth, which was one of the reasons that the Wi-Fi videos weren't the greatest. I decided to come to work. So good morning. Good morning. I'm thrilled you're here. Smelling the sage, breathe it in. Sage makes us feel present. It helps calm us down, triggers our subconscious in a very positive way. So it's a nice way to start the day. Thanks for coming. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist. And what I mainly do is I help women who are stressed out from toxic relationships, and I help them learn the things they were supposed to learn when they were kids. They were supposed to learn how to take care of yourself, how to respect yourself, how to love yourself, and how to calm your nervous system down. So if you were like me, you are spending most of your life or spent most of your life with two different feelings, let's say. How you would feel on the inside was way different from how you were trying to feel on the outside. So maybe you read all these books and all these spiritual texts and personal growth stuff, and they would say wonderful things like you just need to let go and let God. You just need to relax. I've had some gurus who have been like, you just need to get laid. You just need to go to Mexico and get laid. And okay, that starts to get a little weird and sketchy. But the point is, you've probably lived most of your life feeling differently inside of yourself than you wanted to feel. You'd feel stressed, overwhelmed, tired, frustrated, angry, maybe helpless. And all of these things does not mean that you're broken. It just means one thing. It means that you don't know how to calm your nervous system down. That's basically it. And then a narcissist comes in the door. You meet them and you say, hello, narcissist, welcome to my life. And they look for the things that will keep you off balance. It's just what predators do. And narcissists are people who are doing the best they know how to get in control of their life too. The problem is the way they do it is by manipulating and controlling the people around them. And so you welcome them in as an empath and a healer and a compassionate woman and say, welcome, welcome, come in my door. And they start investigating you. That's where the love bombing comes from. It starts from, getting you to open up, allowing you to be vulnerable, learning everything that they can about you. Because what happens is they're gathering information. They're gathering information about how to keep you off balance. And if you never learned how to stay in balance, if you never learned how to calm yourself down, how to keep yourself from freaking out, if you never learned what to do when that happens, then a narcissist is going to be able to manipulate you every single day of the week, because they're not looking to be nice to you. They're looking to protect themselves. And the way they do that is by keeping you kind of under their thumb. So why does your nervous system get all freaked out and off balance? Why do you get angry and hurt and frustrated and overwhelmed and tired? And why do these things happen? They happen because you've got two different nervous systems. One nervous system is your sympathetic, which is the one that gets you ready to fight, to run, or to hide. That's your sympathetic nervous system. And in today's world, when you're in a board meeting, when you're sitting on your couch with your kids, when you're driving down the road, you don't have the option to fight, run away, or hide. You have to keep pretending like everything's fine. And this is where we get into trouble. Because when we're in a place of fight or flight and we can't express it, it causes all of this inner turmoil, causes all of this conflict and uncomfortableness. Some people eat, some people exercise, Some people distract themselves with shopping, but it's all an attempt to calm ourselves down and make ourselves feel better. So these are the ways you've been probably doing a halfway decent job of trying to keep yourself level. When a narcissist comes along and finds all the buttons that are left in your psyche from your dad or your mom or your uncle or your sister or a priest or a doctor or some bully, a narcissist comes and kind of maps you out and finds out which buttons to push. You want to get rid of those buttons. And the way you get rid of those buttons is by learning how to calm yourself down. So today I'm going to give you 3 tools. So if you stay to the end, you're going to get some really great 3 tools. And the end meaning like in 10, 15 minutes. It's not that long. It's not that far away. So we're going to do that at the end, but I want to give you just a little bit of science. So when you're in your sympathetic nervous system, your body is what's called dysregulated. It means that you've got 19 compartments in your brain, and all of them are firing, and they aren't talking to each other, and they're all in a state of panic. So when a narcissist pushes your buttons, when a narcissist gets angry at you for turning up the thermostat or making a mistake, or when they're just looking for someone to vent on, they're going to push one of these buttons they've found around you. That's just what they do. It's what predators do. And you're going to react. You're going to go into fight or flight, and your brain's going to start firing all over the place. Your stomach will probably knot up. Your heart will stop beating regularly. It will it will be more disjointed. It will have a harder time beating in rhythm. And you are typically trying to deal with this feeling of like your body's going to implode any moment. That's your sympathetic nervous system, because you're not able to run, you're not able to fight, and you're not able to hide. Instead, you're supposed to look zen and calm and successful and like you know what's going on and not react and go no contact and never say anything. And that just doesn't work very well. That just creates more conflict in you, which then builds up and starts to create health issues. So the other nervous system that you're in is the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is when your brain is firing together. They're all talking to each other. And your heart is connected with your brain, and they're in resonance, and they are in flow. And so is your gut, and that's in flow. In actuality, you've got all these glands throughout your body, which correspond with the chakras. And these glands have these little epicenters of nerve cells. And when you can get those regulated, when you can get your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, and your thyroid, and your heart, and your digestive, and your reproductive systems all working together in harmony, you are able to do amazing things, because that's when it means that you are whole. When you actively work on keeping yourself calm, yes. Hey, Jesper, nice to see you. We've got a lot of calls on today. That's awesome. When you work on keeping yourself calm, all sorts of miraculous things happen. You know, I was just on our call last night. I do a women's narcissist recovery group. Oh, amazing women. And we were talking about the changes that have happened in their life since we've all started working together. And some of the things were like their skin conditions went down. You know, they've had a rash for 6 years, and the rash has gone away and hasn't come back. Or that they're able to digest more. Their digestive system is now open and functioning better. Their sleep has changed. Their clarity of thinking has changed. All of these things start to happen when you learn how to regulate and calm down your own nervous system. Right now in the world, because nobody really knows how to calm themselves down, we're all looking for other things, something that we can do or be or someone that can help us stay level. We're all looking for that. But in reality, when you keep trying to control someone else or get someone else to help you feel better, then you're dependent on them, aren't you? You're dependent on a narcissist. You're dependent on someone who's, you know, emotionally unstable and manipulative to help you stay calm. That's kind of irrational, because they're not going to do it. Their goal in life, their main purpose is to kind of keep you unstable and off balance. Hey, Selena, thank you so much. I love you too. Um, so when you're in this dysregulated system, your sympathetic nervous system, you're going to feel like you want to jump out of your skin. Your skin's going to crawl. But when you regulate your nervous system, when you take a pause and take a step back and do something to calm yourself down legitimately, then suddenly everything starts to work together. And the neat thing is, and let's think about this. When you are dysregulated, you're not very smart, are you? Your brain is foggy, it's firing, it's not communicating, your intuition isn't very good. You can't trust your intuition. You don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong, and you just sit there second guessing yourself all the time. But when you regulate your nervous system, then you see the answers, you see the solutions. A narcissist comes at you, or someone else who's angry or frustrated or manipulative, and you can see through them. You see through what they're doing, and it doesn't affect you. It doesn't turn you into, a nervous butterfly. It turns you into someone who is level and centered and calm and confident, and you can handle anything that happens to you. Wouldn't that be great? So how do you regulate your nervous system? How do you do this? Well, spiritual practices have been telling us for a long time, but the problem with spiritual practices is many times their regulation tools take forever. You're supposed to start a meditation practice. Really? How long are you supposed to meditate every day? And a lot of people can't even they don't know how to calm their minds down in the first place. So, okay, meditation's out. That's going to take too long. Or they say you need to take a walk. How many walks are you supposed to take during the day? Every time you get upset? Every time you feel frustrated and overwhelmed? Is that how often you're supposed to take a walk? We don't have time for that. Or there isn't a location, or maybe you're stuck in an apartment or a condo, or you're in the middle of a meeting, or it's in the middle of the workday. You can't go take those long walks and, become one with God. What about, what about hours and hours of exercise? Yes, that does help keep your nervous system regulated. But if you were like me, I woke up dysregulated. I woke up stressed out. I woke up off balance, probably because my dreams were processing through things. And so, I didn't like feeling that way. And by the time I had a chance to exercise, I'd been dealing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours of feeling on edge, no matter what I did. Couldn't calm myself down. So there's all these practices, from sweat lodges to talking circles to meditation to sound baths to essential oils to a million different things which you can use to regulate your nervous system. But I didn't use most of them because they cost too much money. They took too much time. And, it got weird after a while. Wait, hold on a moment. Let me muscle test to see if I can eat this thing. Okay. Wait a moment. I have to, check which essential oil will be perfect for this moment. One moment, and then you've got this giant box of oils and, they're going bad. And it's too complicated for us to regulate our nervous system most times. So how do we work around this? How do we start calming ourselves down so that our body can heal itself? So the heart problems can start to heal themselves, the gut problems, the skin problems, the brain fog problems, because when you're regulated, your body heals itself. It's rest and digest and fix and repair. When you're dysregulated, which is how most of us are most of the time, your body sends all of its resources to needing to protect, needing to make sure that you don't behave in a way that's not in your best interest or that's inappropriate for the moment. All of your energy is spent in trying to control how you feel instead of everything working together and moving smoothly. So you know what it's like when you've taken a long walk, right? When you're stressed out and you go and take a walk in the woods, which is a wonderful way to ground and get recentered. You go, oh, I understand. I'm one with everything and it's all right. And then you go to work and someone says and does the thing that makes you feel crazy. Oh, Jenny asks, is an abuser a narcissistic? A narcissist? Yes, everybody's got levels of narcissism in them. And someone who has higher levels of narcissism tends to be very abusive. So we all have that narcissism. It's healthy, but most people keep it managed and under wraps, and it's not their, go-to. But narcissists, abusers, sociopaths, psychopaths, um, child abusers, domestic abusers, emotional abusers, energy abusers, those all are people who have high levels of narcissism in them, which means that basically they're okay with what they do. They've somehow justified keeping other people kind of off balance because they feel off balance. You know what it feels like when hopefully you've been doing these for a while, but can't do them in the middle of a crowded room. So what do? These are the 3 tools I want to give you. These 3 tools, what they do is they regulate your nervous system in like 60 seconds or less. I've used them when I've been hiding in the bathroom, hiding at a party, pretending I'm getting a snack out of the refrigerator, rummaging for something in cupboards while driving, going out to the garage to look in the freezer. I have used these self-regulation tools because they in seconds take you from feeling crazy to feeling calm. And the crazy, remember, is dysregulation. And the number one thing you need to do when you're dysregulated is regulate yourself, level yourself out, calm yourself down. And you need to be able to do it in a way that isn't going to create lots of chaos or weirdness in your life. So tool number 1 is havening. So what havening does is it's calming. It works. For me, it feels like it helps regulate my heart more. When I do havening, I feel like my heart starts to beat more regularly. I feel like my brain and my heart are more connected. It's very comforting. So havening is basic. It's a stroking of your arms. So if you want to do it, more properly, you can give it a tension number of 0 to 10. Let's say you're feeling like 8 on a 0 to 10 scale. That freaked out. You give it a number, and then you slowly stroke your upper arms 20 times. Let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then you give it another number. Let's say a 4 or a 3, one that's accurate for how you feel. So, okay, you don't always want to be doing a presentation in front of 100 people and stroking your arms, right? I get that. Do you feel calmer? Do you feel how that calms your system down? Do you feel how that calms your heart down? The neat thing is it helps get rid of trauma at the same time. It works with the brain and it helps get rid of your trauma triggers, the things that you've been triggering about in the first place. So simple, right? It's what we used to do at funerals or when someone was grieving or a child was crying. We'd go up to them and we'd rub their arms. It's the same sort of thing. When someone feels stressed, they'll tend to rub their arms. That's because it calms down your heart and it calms down your nervous system. Now, if you can't do it, let's say I'll be driving and I want to keep one hand on the wheel. I will do it to one arm at a time. Should it be fast? Should it be slow? Totally up to you. When I'm angry, I tend to do it fast because I'm just like, I want to feel better now. When I'm calmer, what happens is it'll slow down. Jesper likes stroking your arms, but thank you. Yes. It's wonderful when you do regulation stuff in a group. That's why things like group healings and sound baths and group meditations, and whether they're in person or online, there's a synergy that happens. There's a group sync that happens, and we all sort of come together, and it magnifies the regulation. We become in resonance not just with ourselves, but we become in resonance with everyone else. It's like we're creating an orchestra. So when we do these things together, we're creating an orchestra for our system, and you know how good that feels. You know how wonderful that is. So if you can't stroke your arms for whatever reason, you can't, either physical, impairment or something else, you can also stroke your hands. Hey, Dina, good. I'm glad you liked that. You can stroke your hands 10 to 20 times. Remember always looking at people who would wring their hands when they wouldn't feel good? It's because they naturally, intuitively knew they wanted to calm themselves down. So you can stroke your hands, it works the same way, or you can stroke your face, it works the same way. The neat thing is you can do this even while you're standing there and your boss is yelling at you. When you're standing there and your boss is looking at you and you're like, I'm going to lose my job any second, this is something that you can do that's unobtrusive. They're not noticing it. You can do your hands, you can do your arms, you can do your face. So that's havening. I like to do that when I'm feeling a little bit sad, hurt, anxious, when I need comfort, and it comforts your nervous system. Okay, so tool number two. Tool number two comes from a beautiful woman. Her name is Tapas Fleming. And Tapas Fleming rediscovered acupressure points that calm your nervous system down. They take you out of your sympathetic and they flip the switch into your parasympathetic. Now, I like to use this next acupressure technique because what it does for me is it helps me hear what's going on in my subconscious, and it helps me put new things into my subconscious. So, have you ever had that underlying feeling of, oh shit, what's going to happen, but I don't know what it is? Have you ever been in that place? You feel uneasy, you feel unsettled, but you don't know why, maybe on your way home. And a lot of women feel this way when they're in toxic relationships because there's a constant underlying hum of threat. You're walking on eggshells. You never know what's going to happen. Every time your phone dings, you're worried it's going to be that person's name, or it's going to be trouble, or it's going to be a problem that you're going to have to solve. So you never get to relax. You're probably constantly in a state of low level of anxiety and depression. Most people are, actually. And part of that is because we can't tap into our subconscious so that we can take all of those worries and all of those fears that are back there and process them out, bring them out of the little compartment that they're in, open the door, and help them come out so that you can integrate them, you can calm them down, you can soothe them, you can reassure them. So TAT points, that's what these are called. TAT points, it's like plugging into your subconscious so you can not only hear what it has to say, but also reassure it and make it feel like it's welcome. So you can do this when you're angry. You don't have to try to control your thoughts or change your mind. You don't have to somehow be more zen. You don't have to be in a specific mind state or physical state. In fact, the more stressed out you are when you do these tools, the more effective they are. Fair warning, when you regulate your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic, your body is going to release the emotions that have been hanging out there for decades, from traumas and issues and pains and whatnot. And because your body is going to need to get that emotion off of its system, when you do some of these tools, you may cry, you may shake, an adrenaline release, you may sweat, detoxing out of your skin. Your breathing may change. It'll detox out of your breath. Your digestion may change. So you may have an immediate sort of response. So give yourself a few minutes, or even better, if you're in the middle of that experience, let yourself express it. Let yourself show the other person what's really going on inside of you. It's as if this gives you the ability, it takes down those walls and those veils so that you can be authentic. And if you want to have any kind of relationship with anyone, even a narcissist, the more authentic you are, the more successful the relationship will be. Okay? So, and authenticity isn't just being nice. Authenticity is also expressing what you're really feeling inside. Because you got into trouble in the first place because how you felt inside wasn't the same way that you felt outside. So if you're connecting to your subconscious, you want to hear what it has to say, and then you want to reassure it. So, okay, thumb, ring finger. Got it? Either hand, doesn't matter. They go on the insides of your eyebrows. So if you follow your eyebrows to the end, closer to your nose, thumb, ring finger, and they go right here on the inside of your eyebrows. And then the other two fingers just sort of rest in the middle of the forehead. And then you take the other hand and you put it on the back of your head, like cradling the back of your skull and the top of your neck, and you hold it. You just hold it. If you don't know what to do, then say the alphabet twice. I've done that before. Do something that's kind of a time suck. Do something that you don't have to do anything about. Just be. And if by holding these points, it starts to naturally calm your system down. And then you may hear what's really going on. I'm a loser. I can't do this. You're a piece of shit. Why do you even bother? This is never going to work. I'm never going to be happy. This is just the way life is. Why does this always happen to me? How come I can't figure this out? Those are the sorts of things that you're saying, those negative programmings, as they used to say, ants, the negative programming, negative thoughts that are always running in your subconscious. And when we suppress them and push them down, like most spiritual practices try to tell us to do, it gets worse. It builds up. But if you hook into it like this, it's like plugging into your subconscious, you can hear what it has to say, and you can tell it what it needs to hear. So let's say it's telling you, you're never going to do this anyways. All right. Now you can talk to it and say, you know what? You figured this out before. I know that you don't know what you're doing, but that's not true. You really do. And when you're centered and calm and comfortable, miracles happen. You see magic in the world. You see fairies around every corner, and you see the flowers bloom, and you love the smell of the rose, and the sunshine is warm on your face, and you enjoy yourself. And you realize that you're part of something that's bigger than you. You're part of a bigger flow, a bigger world, a bigger universe, and that it's there to support you. It's there to care about you. It's there to give you the resources that you need. And wherever you've turned, there's always been opportunities. If you've been able to look for it, you've been able to see the opportunities, and it protects you and it keeps you safe. It's only when we don't do these things, when we don't calm ourselves down, it's only when we love ourselves and respect ourselves that we're able to take our rightful place in the world, which is someone who is in the flow of things, not someone who's constantly going against the flow and feeling crazy inside. So you are a whole, healthy, beautiful, amazing human being. You just need to get regulated. And when you start doing these things more often, you're going to feel better. Okay, you can put your hands down. So you may notice that you feel a little bit different. You feel a little calmer. Maybe when you put your fingers on your head like that, you heard things you didn't realize that you would hear. Big judgments and negative thoughts and other people's voices. This is a way to get them out. And once you've purged a little bit of them, rah, 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 rah. In fact, a lot of times when women work with me, they'll start to tell me about their day, how somebody did something and how they feel crazy, how their ex is, calling them out for saying they're abusing their children because they're being manipulative, or that someone wants more money, or the lawyer's fees are going up, or whatever it may be, whatever the stress situation. When you do that, you're respecting and you're loving yourself when you listen to it. And by putting your fingers on those acupressure points, the TAT points, it's loving yourself. And then once that's purged a little bit, once women have told me a little bit about what's going on, they've shared, their thoughts, journaling's good for that, then they're able to remind themselves of what's true. They're able to remind themselves that they're okay, that it's not all about them. The ego, the front of the mind, gets stressed out, absolutely positively, and it knows it can't handle living this really big, rich life. It knows it can't handle that, and so it keeps you in that state of anxiety. But when you get back to balance, when you do the havening, when you do the TAT points, when you get back to balance, suddenly you can handle things again. As I said, I've done it in the middle of arguments. I've done it in the middle of conflict. I've done it when someone is unloading on me. And it's a way to stay calm and level so that you don't get hijacked, so that you don't get your buttons pushed. And if they are pushed, you're able to calm yourself down and take care of yourself. And the neat thing is the more you do this, the more your body heals itself. So chronic problems that have been around for a long time, they start to go away because your body isn't in a constant state of fighting itself. Now it's in a state of healing itself. It's in a state of boosting your white blood count and increasing the circulation. All sorts of wonderful things happen. So now you've got two tools. The third tool is this. The third tool is an NET sort of move. It's a way to break some of the visual and trauma associations that you have with things. So let's say you are dreading doing your taxes. This is an actual real thing. During tax time, I work with people with this. So let's say you're dreading doing your taxes, and you've got in your head the 2020 or the 2019 or the whatever tax form, and even just thinking about it freaks you out, right? And then you procrastinate, you don't get it done. Maybe you feel sick. Maybe, years go by and the taxes don't get finished. Maybe you give more money to the government than you need to because you just want it done and off your plate, because just the idea of the IRS being able to take your house freaks you out. So a lot of times there's some visual, there's something that's getting in your way, and it triggers you every single time. Could be the name of your ex or your current or your husband or your child popping up on your phone. It could be an email. It could be someone driving too close. This always gets me crazy when I'm driving on the road and someone drives too close. It doesn't get me crazy anymore, actually, but it used to. So whenever you've got a visual that triggers you, that you just can't stand to even think about, we're going to do this together. So I want you to create that visual in your mind and put it about a foot in front of you, okay? It can even be off to the right a little bit if you want. So in your mind's eye, in front of you about a foot and to your right. Now you point at it. Your eyes can be open or closed. You point at it. And after you point at it, and you're going to keep it with you, it's going to go with you, you're going to turn to your left 3.5 times. It's counterclockwise. Isn't that cool? It's like turning back time. That's sort of what it does to the body. So this is about the speed you want to go at. So we are at 1. Remember, we're doing 3.5. And you don't have to put your hand here. I'm just putting it there to demonstrate that you're not leaving it behind. You're bringing it with you. Okay, so now you all have that point. That's 2. Now you may feel your shoulders starting to drop. You may feel your chest start to open. You may feel a little bit of a change. That's 3. And then remember, there's a half. And then you check in with yourself. What changed? What's different? How do I feel different? How does this affect me in the same way? Did the picture change somehow? That happens a lot. So ask yourself that. What changed? And what you just did there is you broke or weakened the trauma bond with it. You weakened the bond with that trigger. And when you weaken the bond with that trigger, it's not able to trigger you as deeply anymore. I've used that one at 3 a.m. I've used it when I'm angry. I've used it in the shower. I've used it in the bathroom. I've used it when there's something I just need to get rid of. I just need to stop being controlled by something. I will do this. I'll do the one where I point at something. So those 3 tools I'll use together. I'll use separately. I'll use any time of day. I'll use in front of people. I'll use not in front of people. When you show it to kids, kids love this stuff because they finally have the tools to calm themselves down. Whereas before, nobody ever taught them. Nobody ever taught them how to calm themselves down. And when you start teaching these to children, you empower them. You give them a foundation. If you do nothing else, the most important thing you can do with kids is teach them how to regulate their own nervous system. Teach them how to get themselves out of that crazy place and back into the intuitive centered place. And those 3 tools will do it. Kids end up havening like all the time. And you do it with them and you remind them. And when you do these tools, this is a neat thing. When you do these tools, if anyone else is watching you, the mirror cells in their brain mimic it. The body doesn't know the difference between what someone's doing and what someone's imagining. It's how we're wired. So if they're watching you, just like a monkey watching another monkey eating ice cream and the pleasure centers in their brain lighting up, just when we look at babies, just like when we look at, beautiful trees, what happens is whatever we see, if it's calming, it will calm us down. If it's destructive, it'll make us feel destructive. That's how you've been jacked around by narcissists for so long, is because you're absorbing and reacting. Your nervous system is reacting to their crazy. So when you take the reins and you calm yourself down and you get your crazy off your system, it helps get the crazy off the other person too. So that's one of the reasons it's good to have the courage to do these things in front of other people, because it takes a tense situation and helps dial it down. It helps calm it down, because you end up being on the same wavelength. Sometimes it takes a few times. It takes a few different encounters. But even if they don't know what they're doing, when you calm down, it will calm the other person down. Because remember, most people are looking outside of themselves to feel better. And if you're smart, you're looking inside of yourself and taking care of it. And so if they're looking outside of themselves to feel better, and you feel better, then as a natural side effect, whoever's feeling dysregulated, the narcissist, the toxic person, the whatever, whoever's angry or frustrated or mad, whoever's doing that, they will calm down too. Okay? So you doing your work will affect change in your family, your friends, your coworkers, random people on the street, because your energy will now be the one that's in charge. People naturally look to the person who's calm, centered, and confident as the leader. And when you are calm, centered, and confident, people are going to turn to you for the answers. It's just natural. It's just how the human psyche works. Okay? So now you've got those 3 tools, right? My request is that you start using them whenever you have a negative thought, whenever you feel stressed, whenever you feel overwhelmed. If you do this as a practice, if you do this every single time that something comes up, very quickly, your body will heal itself. And very quickly, you will be able to stand up to a narcissist, and you'll be able to authentically express how you feel. And you'll be able to walk into a room and be calm and comfortable and centered. You'll be able to walk into any situation and know, even if something takes you off guard, you will be able to calm yourself down and center yourself and become the leader in the room. This is the confidence change that happens. This is how people really make it in life. Not because they stay dysregulated, but because they learn how to center themselves and calm themselves down in moments. And the more you do these things, the more centered and calm you'll stay, and the more your life will get better. You can ask any of the women that work with me and they end up on these live streams. You can practice it yourself. Don't trust me. Just see what's working for you. Some work better than others for people. Some work better when you have someone do it with you for a little bit so that you can get practice and get it into your muscle memory. That's what coaching is for, to give you practice and support and love so that you can get on this path to success. Okay, so I urge you to start using those. That's my call to action. I want you to use these every day, a couple times a day, 4, 5, 6 times a day at the start. And then let me know. Come on one of the other live streams and make a comment or send me a message. You can find me right now at inspiremassage.com, but soon to be ritahickmancoaching.com. So share your stories, because we need people to start calming themselves down. We need people to start being regulated and to stop being narcissistic, self-absorbed, dysregulated, crazy makers that aren't looking to make the world a better place. They're just looking to protect themselves at all costs. We have to start getting people back into their humanity. Okay, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.